It's me, your girl Brianka J, and you are tuned in to Lit for Books or Book Talk. I don't know how long you've been here. I don't know what all you've seen, but whatever the case is, whether it's your first time or you've been here for a long time, I want to welcome you, give you a warm Texas welcome to my little home on the internet where we talk all things about books, okay? Now, my name is Brianka J. I'm your bestie at this point. We besties now, so we keep it real with each other. Before we get into this book review, I do want to tell you guys, like, hey, I know I've been away. It's been about 2 months according to my uncle who let me know this, but actually it's been about 3. And I want to tell you guys, sincerely, I apologize. It wasn't my intention at all, but the break has created a whole new individual out of me. I went to so many countries. Man, guys, I had a great time. And I'll try to get into that in a different video. If you want to know more about that, let me know in the comments or something, and I will happily tell you guys the details of what that break looked like. But I read Of Women in Salt by Gabriela Garcia. So good. That's the review. Click out, leave, go. I'm kidding. Don't go. Please don't go. No, the book was so good. It was about these different women, Hispanic women, who are entangled with both America and their home country. And for me, personally, I love to read books, one, that keep us captivated with these heterogeneous narratives where the perspective consistently changes. 2, teaches me about a different culture or a different culture or a different time period. And 3, one that uses like real facts, like real history to captivate the reader in the story. So that's something that this book hit. And I think that anybody who follows me along with my literary journal will also really enjoy this work, and I'm going to tell you why. But first, I have to shamelessly promote myself, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all know how it go. Y'all know. Okay, so I have a couple different offerings, so keep up, and if you don't keep up, hit the description box. It'll tell you everything. If you have a small business or know someone that owns a small business and your company needs a website, I actually produce websites. You can check out my portfolio and learn more about my offerings at www.briankaj.com. If you're specifically interested and only interested in books and literary books, then you can go to www.litforbooks.com. I have not been updating it as I should, but I'm totally getting back into the flow of things, and active updates will be coming to that site as well. Now, if you just like me, like I like me, or you are a writer like me, or have want to talk about things I really loved this book, Of Women in Salt by Gabriela Garcia, which is it was so good. It was so good to me. I actually had been looking at this book for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I got to Target one day and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and buy it. And so this book is actually about a Cuban family. It's about a lot of women across different borders. I'm gonna read the synopsis first, as always, and we'll go into like the details of the book. So it says, in present day Miami, Jeanette is battling addiction. Daughter of Carmen, a Cuban immigrant, she is determined to learn more about her family history from a reticent mother and makes the snap decision to take in the daughter of a neighbor detained by ICE. Carmen, still wrestling with the trauma of displacement, must process her difficult relationship with her own mother while trying to raise a wayward Jeanette. Steadfast in her quest for understanding, Jeanette travels to Cuba to see her grandmother and reckon with secrets from the past destined to erupt. From 19th century cigar factories to present day detention centers, from Cuba to Mexico, of Women in Salt is a kaleidoscopic portrait of betrayals, personal and political, self-inflicted and those done by others, that have shaped the lives of these extraordinary women. A haunting meditation on the choices of mothers, the legacy of the memories they carry, and the tenacity of women who choose to tell their stories, despite those who wish to silence them. This is more than a diaspora story. This is a story of America's most tangled, honest human roots. Okay, so yeah, what led me to the book was probably the synopsis. I just was like, this is interesting. I really love I love when I get these heterogeneous narratives, where it's like this person talking and this person talking and this person talking. And what was fun was that I wasn't even just skipping through perspectives, I was also skipping through time. So there were times where I was like, where am I now? What country am I in now? What year is it? What the hell war is this? So that was fun for me. Like, I like to be a little bit confused when I'm reading. I like to be a little challenged when I'm reading. And so that for me is a good time. She's definitely writing for women. She's definitely writing a book for women. But I don't think it was like also just meant for like Hispanic women. I think that any woman who reads this will find this book to be really intriguing. They will really enjoy learning, because we all struggle with, and you're a bullshitter if you say no. I think we've all at some point struggled to understand our mother, and our mother have struggled to understand us in a way, right? And when we have these problems, always like your grandmother, and ask this person, like at least for me, people always kind of ask us to kind of consider the legacy. What is creating these personas, what are creating these demeanors? And so this book was like one of those books that does that, and it does it in the same way that we kind of have to figure it out, right? Like just tangled pieces that we try to tie together to kind of understand who we are and where we come from. And so that's why I really like this book a lot. I would say that this book definitely could fit into either historical fiction or it could fit into a diaspora fiction, right? Because it's just really good, and it had, not diaspora, contemporary. It's really good that way, that it could kind of fit into two genres or subgenres. Again, there were times where I was confused as I changed perspectives. I had to be like, oh, okay, what's going on, and who is talking, and what are they talking about, and why is it happening? And I had to kind of tie in the relationships and how it created these new aspects of identity. I cared deeply about these characters, which was so interesting because some of them only had one chapter, and I was like, God damn it, tell me more about her story, you know? So it was a lot of times where just like I was wanting more, like I was greedy for more, which is a great way to feel when you're reading something. And that's why I think this book was so good and so nice. The only thing, I wish you could give me 8 more chapters, Miss Garcia. But again, the plot was compelling because you stayed on the edge of your seat. You stayed needing to know what happened next. Like it was no way around it. The dialogue was completely believable. How she dealt with addiction, how she dealt with her mother, how her mother dealt with her, how children speak. Everything was just wonderfully written. Great writing. The events were completely tangible, believable. Even if they were shocking, you were like, okay, that could happen. And then there were just a ton of beautiful things in here that left you really thinking, that left you really considering who you were and who you could be and what it meant to be a woman. And I think that's what made the book so great. And yeah, I think I can't remember all the quotes in here, but I can assure you that as you read, like even like on the last page, it says we are more than we think we are, right? We are force. You know, women are force. And I think that's wonderful where we are always considered to be, you know, soft. Gabriela Garcia continues to push this idea like we are a force. You know, we are something to be reckoned with. You know, we ain't gonna just be, we're not easy, you know. We don't have it easy, and we're not softening our edges, you know. And so for that, I think it was just a beautiful depiction of art. there's nothing profane or like graphic in this book. There's no smutty scenes. Completely readable if you're just not into that. I don't typically have like smutty books, so it was just really good. I think the author's purpose here was to really just talk about the trajectory of women's lives and the tangles and the decisions we have to make and how we have to prioritize and how nothing's really easy, right? Nothing's easy. And I think she really accomplished her purpose here to really show us the deep complexities of mankind, the deep complexities of family, and how love and hate and disdain can kind of all mix into one pot with you, right? I think that made it really good. If I had to say anything, I would say that because she uses these heterogeneous narratives where she skips through time and through place, then it's the most like probably like Faulkner in a way with that. And what's his book, Absalom, he kind of does that different heterogeneous time schedule. Of course, she's not writing us 40 to 50 word sentences all completely grammatically correct, so it is a lot more pleasant and easy to read than Absalom, but still could mimic the complexity of humanity, so that made it very good. And I was very touched by her work. I thought it was amazing. While I read it, I got to learn about the war. I got to learn about Cuba. I got to learn about detention centers, ICE. So many ideas that I never considered as an African American woman. Like, I don't have to consider my immigration status, my citizen status. I don't have to think of these things, and maybe that's me in a privileged place, but by reading about other people's cultures, you get to think of these things in a greater sense and to come to a realization that you may have missed prior to. So I think that was great. Would I recommend this work? Of course I would recommend this work. I think this work was excellent. I would recommend this work to teenage girls to start. Anybody 15 and up, I think, would really enjoy the work. And if they don't enjoy the work, I mean, it's hard to get teenagers to read, but they might find this a lot more compelling. Especially, I worked in a Latinx school for a long time, and I think some of my students would have felt comforted to see these stories told this way and to feel like they exist in a community and not an island. I think at 31, right, I know that it's so many more people like me. I know that my story, is, though unique, has been lived in some way before, right? But I think when you're a teenager, this idea of that nobody understands you, right? That no one has these experiences like you do, that no one gets it. And so when you read, it gives you this idea like, yes, somebody gets it. And I think it's so cool because, like, when I first discovered that, it wasn't like, oh, I read a book by a black woman and she gets it. It actually was like some of the plays by Shakespeare that took me to that moment. Some of the poems by Langston Hughes. Some of the things written by Charles Dickens. You know, all these different people kind of made me realize, like, hey, like, how I feel and how I think is it crosses over things like race and gender and age. It crosses over things like time and space, right? We as humans, we as mankind share a common thread, and though you may not think just like me, somebody thinks similar to me, or somebody agrees with me just like somebody agrees with you. And I think that those things is what makes humankind to be so interesting and so evolved and so comforting and so beautiful. And now I'm rambling, so I suppose I've ran out of things to say, but thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here. My name is Brianka J. You have just seen the latest installation of Lit for Books, but don't you worry, I'll be back with more book reviews. I will not be gone for so long anymore. I will try to really establish this back into my normal routine, because it's actually something that used to make me really happy. Like, I was sitting around today and I was sad, y'all. I was just sad, and I really couldn't couldn't claim it. I didn't know why. I was just like, I don't feel like myself. I don't feel good today. And I tried to eat and get into my work and to focus, and those things help. But I think that this community with YouTube really helps me to feel like I'm a part of something. It really helps me to remember that that there's a world beyond, you know, the little things that I come in contact with, and that I can touch people. I used to love talking to some of the people in Argentina, Zimbabwe, like right here in Texas. And so I really missed you guys, and I'm sorry I've been away so long, but if you've continued to follow me and you're still here, I always want to express my sincerest gratitude to you. And if you're a new follower because I think I gained like 20 or 30 followers while I've been away, thank you too for still, you know, trusting me to come back. And every time somebody subscribed or left a comment, I had a little pang of guilt, but it also brought me closer back to what I needed to be doing. So I also want to thank you guys so much for rocking with me. And I'm sorry I came in here looking like y'all my homies, but y'all my homies. So yeah, I'm so grateful, and I want to see you guys again, and I will definitely be back. I wish I had another book to review, because I review it right now for y'all. But I'm gonna be reading something else soon. If you have a recommendation for me, drop it and I'll check that out, because I don't really know what my November reads are, and it's November 1st, and that's insane. But yeah, and what else do I want to tell y'all? So much. I started a new blog, BriancaJWrites.com. Those are my blogs. If you want to know a little bit about my travels, you can go over there and check it out. I'm on Instagram. You can check me out on Instagram. I'm always there. You can always see me making these crazy, silly reels or talking about web design. And I stopped talking about books, but I'll get back to it soon. And I'm gonna start writing my short stories again, so I'll have new publications coming soon, and I'll share those. Guys, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Y'all really don't even know how much your like, your comment, your subscription brings me to a place where I feel like I have a purpose. Sometimes we're doing this work and we're creating and we're talking and we're writing and stuff like that, and you ask yourself, like, does it matter? Am I touching anyone? Is somebody benefiting? And so I'm telling y'all, when y'all like, comment, subscribe, and things like that, even when I'm not active, man, that touches my heart so much. Thank y'all so much, and I'll be back soon with more content. Be safe.